Guten Morgen, mein Babies. Hey, welcome back to Twink Peaks. We forgot how to make an intro again, but it doesn't matter because Tate's fucking leaving by the time you see this. Not sure for how long, at least until April.
Yeah, for now, at least until April.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy, bro. Like,
I will be in another country.
what about
Potentially
Valentine's
two.
Day?
Like I've got a fucking Valentine to celebrate with anyways.
We have also graduated since the last time we recorded, I think.
I think we may have even mentioned it in a couple of the past episodes.
You might have mentioned in the episode with Issa, which you guys have listened to already, that because I feel like Issa came around the time when we got our results that like it's done for sure. Like
Yeah, we've finished, we've graduated.
yeah,
It's over.
it's over, and it's been very funky, to say the least. It's kind of why Tate's moving. Is post grad feelings.
I've never felt more lost.
Yeah.
See, I feel like everyone during the process of their degree at some point in time feel lost and like, okay, am I doing the right degree? Is this what I should be doing? This is what I want. And if it's not what I want, like, am I going to get anything out of this?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I felt that towards the end of the degree. And then after the degree, it just got worse because I couldn't find a job. I applied, I think, over 25 places. If not 25 places, 25 applications. I got 0 interviews. And I got 4 rejection emails. No one else bothered to just tell me that I didn't get it. That would have been so much nicer to just leave me hanging. Like, yeah, maybe we'll just like keep you around.
The rest just ghosted you.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my Bumble days.
So because of that, I've decided to use my nepotism. And by that, I mean family friends, to see if I can like stay in France and work for like my dad's old boss for a bit and get my ski instructing hours in. Because fun fact, guys, I am a ski instructor.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
So that's what I'm doing.
I mean, boof. Actually, that's horrible because Tate's leaving.
I'm ski instructing for a few months.
Yeah.
And then maybe getting my next certification level. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah,
Yeah.
post-grad sucks.
Postgrad sucks, especially when you don't do a real degree
Yeah,
as well.
no,
'Cause,
especially.
like the thing as well is that like okay, film isn't a real degree. It's not even a real degree within the film industry. No one gives a fuck
No one.
that you got a bachelor in film.
No one gives a
Like, that
fuck.
doesn't prove anything. Your portfolio, and not even whether you're likable. If your art's good enough, then you can kind of get away with being a
No, you kind of have to be likable. People whose art is good enough only get away with it if they have like some kind of connection.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I was about to say Sam Levinson, but his dad is industry exec. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to be likable at the beginning, and then once you make it, then you can be terrible to people.
There's actually, when I was in film college, and I'm not going to disclose which country, there was one person who was a very good director, very good at like working with actors, very good at setting up what like they wanted. But honestly, every time I talked to someone who worked on their set, they were like, yeah, it was horrible. Fucking hated working with them, but the results are great.
Hated working with them. How?
Hated how they were as a person on set,
okay.
and then discovered how they were as a person off set, and was like, oh, so like you kind of built up this character upon first meeting, and you were all like, okay, chill, cool, and then as soon as we started working together, you revealed your true nature,
Okay, started.
and it was just like more of an asshole, just not like nothing horrible, just pure assholery.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were good.
So yeah, that's all people really care about is your work and like who you know, and who you know helps so much in every single way. Not even like on some nepotism stuff, even just like if you are on a shoot and the people there generally appreciate your vibes, they're more likely to invite you to another shoot, and it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of over and over again. Like, okay. No, I just cleared my throat into the mic. That's great. I did film because I was really big into photography, and then during the pandemic, I was pretty lonely, and photography was kind of the only thing I could do. I even made like kind of like a photo book.
Yeah.
Burned me out of photography kind of forever. Like I think if someone gave me a really cool camera, I could get back into it again. But until then, it's just digicam pictures of my friends, like for the most part, honestly. I even, like a few months ago, I made an account with my digicam and deleted it a week after because I was like, I hate this again.
I did wonder where that account went.
Yeah, no, I was just like, oh, because it was also in my peak, I hate the internet, I hate Instagram phase.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I putting, like, I should be removing myself from the internet slowly, and instead I'm putting even more of myself onto the internet slowly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I wasn't having a great time with that, and yeah. So then I thought film was the next step up, and needed to leave my home because not much employment going on back there. So I think the one thing that I'm fortunate about is that I never really saw film as my destination. Like I actively feel bad for you and a few of our friends because like this is the shit you guys want to do. And if I do it, sick. But if I don't do it, also sick. I'm not insanely fussed. But it sucks. It really does suck because it also means I lose my friends. Yeah, industry is kind of...
It's also just not at a high during the winter.
It's not at a high during the winter.
It picks up just after winter and coming into spring.
A lot of global conflict has affected advertising campaigns. I think a lot of boycotting, which you should keep doing, is working, which means that these companies don't have as much money to spend, but then that kind of affects us because there are less ads.
Yeah, and also
stuff, commercials for us to work on, whatever.
When global conflicts are happening, that affects how other companies are willing to spend money in ways like I don't necessarily understand, but I know that that's what happens. And so companies are less likely to spend money on other stuff, which includes like the commercials and marketing and stuff. And then it's just at an all-time low. Like even guys we know that have been, like we know a guy who's been working for like almost like pretty much 2 years actively in like post-production and like on-set stuff. Can't find shit.
Are you talking about my baby daddy?
Yeah, I'm talking about my baby daddy.
Okay.
He can't find shit.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And he's got experience and he's got connections.
And another thing that happened was that he was telling me about this, that when the strike happened in the US, the writers and actors strike, all the crew members who were probably from Germany and
Europe
and moved back home to find more work, and they immediately took all the top jobs because of course they've been working in Hollywood, and it just moved everyone down, and we aren't even in yet.
No.
So
it's also, it adds another layer of like, part of the benefit for us is we can speak multiple languages, right?
Yeah.
I can speak English and French, but they don't give a fuck anymore if I can speak English because now their higher working employees speak English because they worked in Hollywood. And so then the rest of the employees get trickled down, and then suddenly like the language doesn't even help you. This does not benefit you in any way. You have to know the native language, which you should anyways. If you're going to move to a country, learn the language, which I haven't done for
which I'm
Germany.
doing right now.
It would have been a lot easier if our university offered language courses. I would have 100% taken them.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive, and I do not learn languages well outside of a classroom context.
What's also funny is that our university was equally as expensive.
Yeah.
And they didn't even offer us that.
No.
But yeah. So the industry is kind of cooked.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, people have been talking about this for a while. There has to be severe money laundering going on. Because every other film these days costs $200 million to make. where is the $200 million going? I think most of it is just going to actors' salaries now. Like, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Don't Look Up's budget was $150 million US dollars. And Leonardo DiCaprio got paid 40.
Jesus. Yeah, no, actually, I remember, who was it that was talking about it? Who's the guy that was in Good Will Hunting? I'm blanking on his name.
Talented Mr. Ripley?
Yes.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, I think it's him, I could be wrong, was talking about how in the 90s, a lot of these low-budget films really made him who he is, because doing a bunch of those is like what propelled his career, and now there isn't the option to do that anymore for young actors, because none of the money that countries are funding and producers and production companies are funding are doing the lower budget stuff, and I can't seem to figure out why. And I think we've kind of gotten to a point where it's been so long just huge budget and action-packed that now there's a resurgence of lower budget films coming back in slowly. But it's not happening very fast. And even though it's low budget, they're still big name actors.
Yeah. I'd say like they're mid-budget movies.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Which I think...
With big actors who miss doing things from the heart and miss doing films that aren't like huge scale.
Yeah. Like, I think people like Luca Guadagnino and... Who's a freaky Greek guy?
Yorgos Lanthimos.
There we go. They are taking up a lot of the like mid-budget space, which I think we need more of those mid-budget movies, definitely, because like when was the last time? It's only like, right now one movie a year that has a budget of like over 100 million, which doesn't lose money. Like this year, it was
Dune Part 2.
Just Dune Part 2. And Dudu versus Wolverine, like, fuck. It was just those two. But Joker...
There was more, we just didn't watch
Joker
them.
2 did not make ends meet.
Honestly, though, I feel like the director just didn't want that movie to succeed.
No.
I feel like it kind of felt like he was purposefully making it boring so it would fail.
But I think we're putting too much trust in Todd Phillips' abilities, so maybe not. But yeah, they just... I mean, okay. They are stupid. But there has to be a reason why they continue to sink so much money into things that continue to fail. Have you seen like Red One, the Christmas movie with J.K. Simmons and The Rock and Chris Evans?
I'm low-key tempted to watch it just because when's the last time we properly had like Christmas movies with big name actors?
But I feel like the Christmas movies that we think of with big name actors, I think of like Die Hard.
Oh, I was thinking of like Love Actually. Still haven't watched it.
Okay,
I feel like they got famous after.
I was about to say they made the...
But some of them were famous before.
Some of them were famous before, but not like The Rock levels, I guess.
True.
Yeah. I just think it's just lazy. The industry is on the decline and they're just lazy and they've kicked out everyone who... It's like Boeing as a company where... CEO was an engineer and Boeing were doing well, and then he left and they replaced him with a guy all about the numbers, just a business guy, and now you can't step foot in a Boeing plane.
Yup.
Exactly. And it's just that over and over again in every single industry.
And I also feel like, you know what, even though we're saying Hollywood is very lazy, and it is, what's really interesting is they still used to and still do just buy out a fuck ton of scripts and never use them, even if they're good, just so that the competition doesn't make that film.
Yeah, that's so foul.
There's a whole archive of good scripts that will never see the light of day because they don't want someone else making it, and yet they're creating shit. It's like, you've already bought these, just make them.
Same thing happens in the tech industry where companies will buy patents just because they're like, ooh, that company's picking up like way too much steam. I think if we buy this patent, we might like stifle their growth a little bit.
Slow them down.
Yeah. Or they just straight up beg the government to ban those companies. Shout out to any Chinese tech company that's being banned. But ooh,
Even if they're a completely ethical business and doing everything right by American standards, if they're Chinese, no.
China's stopping trade on drone batteries with the U.S., which is yeah. We'll see how that plays out. Because the U.S. banned DJI.
US banned what?
DJI.
Really?
The drone company. They also make drones, like those kind of drones.
Oh.
But, yeah.
I did not know that.
Because they were taking up too much market share, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
It's really wild. Like, why do you think the consumer drones are so good? Because they got a lot of training data from other users, I guess.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Oh my god. We should go back to just, if we want an aerial shot, get a helicopter.
Just do that, man. Just do that. But so okay, back to the Don't Look Up budget. This is confusing me because I looked it up and it says the budget is 75 million, which
No, but it's not including marketing. Usually marketing.
Not including marketing, definitely. But
Usually marketing can even get up to the same budget as the film itself. Not always. It depends really. Like, for example, Deadpool and Wolverine definitely had a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, most of the time it's like think of the budget, then you multiply that by 2.5 times, and then you get like full budget with marketing going on Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, etc. Yada 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 yada. But it says Don't Look Up's budget was 75 million, and that's from a bunch of different websites. Leonardo DiCaprio got paid 30, and apparently Jennifer Lawrence got paid 25. So 55 million went to them two, and there was
that's 20 million left for everything else.
Everything else. But I it's hard to believe as well because like Meryl Streep was in it, Jonah Hill was in it, Timothy Chalamet was in it for like 5 minutes. So I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this one.
Something doesn't check out, but honestly probably does check out.
But regardless, you paid those two actors way too much money.
Yeah.
You paid them way too much money. I don't even think Hollywood gets that. Niggas don't even... I think people will just watch a movie... I'm lying. I was going to say that they don't really care about who's acting it in any...
No, they do.
But if Paul Mescal wasn't in Gladiator 2, I wouldn't have watched it.
Oh, no, meaning...
So I'm fully lying.
I would have if Pedro Pascal was... Well, Denzel Washington was really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched the movie if neither of those three were in it.
Yeah. So, okay, I am lying. But just don't pay him. Just...
Don't pay him. Here's the thing also is I remember watching, and I can't remember which interview this was, where one of these big name actors was talking about how he did Wes Anderson films, like leading roles, for basically almost no money because he loves doing that shit. And he's gotten to the point where he doesn't need the money.
I know Scarlett Johansson did that for Asteroid City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of because they like the director, they like him as a person, and they like the projects he does, they're willing to do it for no money. So some of these actors are straight up willing to do it for a fuck ton less. They just obviously don't believe the producer or director cares enough about the film to do it for less money. You know?
Yeah.
Also, some of these actors are straight up just, and I'm going to say greedy.
Oh, 100%.
I understand you're getting your money's worth based on your career and your skill and stuff like that. But do you really need your salary to be half the budget?
How else am I going to buy my third yacht, bro? What the hell?
How else am I going to provide for my 25-year-old girlfriend?
25 is a bit too old, Dave. Bit too old, isn't it?
How else am I going to provide my 24-year-old girlfriend right before she turns 25?
There we go.
In which I will find a replacement.
Of course. Yeah. So that's a film rant.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I got into film because I wanted to be a comic book artist. And then I realized my drawing rate is super fucking slow. I cannot keep up. And I didn't want to keep up. So I was like, let's find something that's creative that I would still pursue. Because my younger sibling's the smart one, so they could do the non-creative thing, and I could get away with the creative thing because at least one of us is doing something.
True.
"Quote unquote" worth it.
The thing that's really weird about my family is that academically, I was like, I'm not saying this to be like rude or anything like that, but like academically, I kind of washed my older brother, and now he's like the data analyst, and I'm like, oh, what is
what does this
what's it
color mean?
What?
What direction does the story go in if I use this part of it?
How do I have a strong third act? You know, now I'm stupid.
How do I make
it.
the film and the audience climax?
Exactly. How do I make no? Yeah.
So then I decided, I was like, film. Let's latch onto that one. And I can't even remember why I latched onto it, but I saw it, I latched onto it hard. I never even considered it as a hobby. I never did anything that was like hobby-ish in terms of film. I just dove right in. I had classes in high school, and then I went to a college, and then I went to a university. And I just did film. And at some point, I realized earlier this year, when I started coming off my medication, I was like, do I care about film like that?
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I couldn't imagine myself studying anything else or doing anything else. I really want to do production assisting. I want to be in the pre-production team crew. If anyone knows anyone in that industry, please message me or the Instagram.
Of course. Hey. I know we were chatting shit earlier on, but hey, Hollywood guys.
Hey.
If you need
someone gets me a job, I am a dog. I am on my knees. I am barking. I need a job so bad. And I'm willing to do almost anything.
I think I have a bit more boundaries.
I don't.
But that's one reason why you should hire them and not
I'm persistent.
Me. Exactly. Hey, and both of us are a diversity hire. So
don't underestimate the power of a diversity hire.
Exactly.
I could be that for you.
Yeah.
Hire me.
Shout out to y'all, man. Doing the most work. Movies have never been so up before.
Movies have never been so up.
Hell yeah.
So then, yeah. And then I also started looking into like maybe studying in France, like a master's or something. But then when I was also like looking at just France in general for internships, post-grad, that's not a thing really. Maybe someone who lives in France corrects me. But when I looked into it, people really don't only do internships as part of the school curriculum, the university curriculum, and because we didn't have that, we don't have any job experience as part of our education.
Yes.
So we're a little fucked because there's no internships for non-students. So I'm stuck in this middle ground where I'm like, I'm not skilled enough to hop right into a production assisting role unless someone knows me, so through a networking kind of situation, and knows what experience I already have.
But I'm done with school.
Yeah. But I'm done with school.
So hire me, please.
So what the fuck am I supposed to do? And that's why I'm really pissed off with our university is we were not set up for success. But we kind of knew that, we just didn't know how bad it would be until everything was over.
I just needed to escape that damn country, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Shout out to my home though. Have I ever said where I'm from?
I don't think so. Maybe, yeah.
Not European, guys. I don't know if you can tell. But speaking of this general realm of conversation, right? Your dad, didn't he study documentary filmmaking?
Okay. My dad studied paleontology.
Okay. What the hell?
And here's the thing. I'm not entirely sure. I think he did like a minor in documentary
Wait,
filmmaking.
what is paleontology, by the way? Damn, you've just been saying that shit? I mean, he could have been like...
I know he worked on dinosaurs.
Okay, well, he could have been like studying how to like make drones and shit, and you're like, yeah, but that's a paleontologist.
He researched dinosaurs. I know because his bachelor thesis was used in like a museum in like The Hague when I went to the museum thing.
Sick.
Because he studied like the teeth of this specific dinosaur.
Shout out to my boy.
And was like able to figure out exactly what they ate through that.
Shout
and
out
some
to
other
my
stuff.
Boy.
And because when him and my mom got married, instead of going on a honeymoon, he was offered a job excavating bones in Canada, and he took it.
Did she go with him?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
at least.
that was their honeymoon. It was him working.
That's pretty cool, though.
Right? I would 100% take it.
Yeah, I'll be like, yo, like, I know we just got like married and shit, but like, new bones. Like
New bones.
New bones, bro. They're a limited amount of bones. Like I'm never gonna get this opportunity again. We can get married again. Like shit. We could divorce. But I'm never gonna dig up new bones.
Yeah, and then he did documentary filmmaking, like a minor, and he made a short film, and I inherited all of his old film equipment from the early 2000s, so that set me up for success. I have his old documentary like camera, like you put in cassettes to record.
And you've never used it, man.
No.
Why have we never used it, man?
I would like to, because it's huge and the quality isn't great.
That's like, who cares about quality?
Okay, we'll try.
Yeah. We can use it for...
Also because cassettes.
We can use it for our, like, for the... for that documentary.
Yeah.
What did I want to say? Okay, because I thought your dad did, like, filmmaking as, like,
No, that was like a
the
side
main thing. But anyways, he studied paleontology. Doesn't do that for work.
No, he's, honestly, for the longest time, just a house husband.
So, like...
Renovating our home in Switzerland, which... Here's the thing. He originally wanted to do architecture, but he didn't pass the math test, so he could never get into architecture. But then he spent 8 years renovating basically our dream home. So he still got to do what he wanted to do with architecture, but he did it because his wife brought in the bread.
It sounds like he was able to do his dream job without thinking about the money.
Yes!
What the conversation that we're about to talk about
Guys.
is, if you were to have a job and money wasn't really... a factor in it, what would you do?
Okay. Well, actually, to close off the last part,
Yeah, go for it.
the moral of that story is get yourself a rich partner, and then you can do whatever you need to do, or like someone that earns well.
Yeah.
That's what my dad did, and it worked out great for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miles.
Shout out to Miles. Okay, I low-key think carpentry.
Yeah.
I kind of like, and maybe this is because I haven't done a ton of it, like jobs that require you to do a certain amount of physical labor. It doesn't have to be super intense labor, but that's kind of why I like filmmaking, is there is a certain aspect of you like running around and you holding things and like carrying things and setting things up. There's like a very physical aspect to it.
Yeah.
And that feels very like emotionally and physically satisfying at the end of the day, because you feel like you've done something compared to if you sat on your laptop all day and did all the work and you just don't feel as fulfilled.
Yeah.
Carpentry kind of does
I
that.
feel like I hear carpentry as an answer all the time. And you know why? It's because of the saying, what would Jesus do?
And here's also the thing, which I think is ridiculous, I'm bringing this up again. Carpentry, if you're a carpenter, you can also still work in the film industry as like set
That's true.
production. And then that's kind of how I would
You
try
see
and
how
filter
rotted
it.
Tate's brain is?
I am
about getting a
so
job.
invested in film.
Shit is so fucked up. I literally just asked, yo, what did you do if money wasn't a thing? And Tate was like, he'd slip
No, but
my
that
way
wasn't
into the
even
film
like the
industry.
point wasn't even money. It was more just like I could still do a creative job that I want to do now, just through this avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe carpentry.
You know what I want to do? I would want to be a creative director for restaurants and cafes. Because I walk into many a cafe, not as many a restaurant.
No.
And every time I'm there, I'm like, this is almost perfect, but something's not hitting. A lot of the time, it's the music. And I know
True.
if you just gave me the space to maybe let you guys do a bi-weekly event, maybe even a trans-weekly. Sorry, stupid joke. But if you just gave me the reins of your cafe, not fully, but just listen to my ideas, just for like a month, I could make you guys so much bread. Oh my God, I always think about that.
But on the other hand, there are a couple cafes in Berlin that have too much brand. You know, they're so brand that there's no cozy.
But that's like, but I know that. So it wouldn't be like that. Don't
Okay.
trust. It wouldn't be like that, you know? It would, yeah. I get very passionate about that. But I don't think I could make that a job yet.
No.
But I wouldn't I just want to do it for the love of the game. I don't.
The love of the game.
Yeah, because cafes, restaurants, they don't have most of the time extra money to just be pumping into some random guy who's like, your music sucks.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, it's just a love of the game activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to do that. And then anything like, I think everyone is just really craving analog work, but not the, not like bunch of slaves building a chapel in like Madrid,
Yeah.
shit like that. But more of like, I think my friend David, for example, hi David. If you said to David, hey David, you could just be a blacksmith right now, he would do it. He would be
That's
like,
actually
"Hell
kind
yeah."
of close to an example of what I wanted to say as another option.
What do you mean
I
by
saw a
close?
documentary on locksmithing, and low key, kind of want to do that.
It's pretty sick. Until your locks are used at Diddy parties, and then what do you do?
Yeah, but those locks are like. Here's the thing: is locksmithing is kind of going out of business because you can make a
Fucking
computer.
ring locks.
You can make a
Fucking
computer
ring.
come up with what you as a locksmith would come up with.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the keys
fucked
and the
up.
locks and all that. So I think probably for Diddy, that's what they would do. They wouldn't use an actual locksmith.
Probably.
So I'm scot-free.
Well done. Well done. Diddy can't have too many keys on his belt. He needs to like tap his phone on the lock.
Diddy with like a fucking like just a ring of keys is just unheard of. He would
Yeah.
he would just have one key that connects to everything.
Real as fuck. Yeah. The master key.
The master.
Ew. Ew. I didn't even like say it like, no Diddy, guys. Yeah. I think everyone just wants to make stuff because a lot of work nowadays, even if it's not like internet focused, like being a content creator or anything like that, or making films, whatever.
It's very
It just
conceptual.
involves staring at a screen the whole day, and people are just a bit dissatisfied with that because it's very one dimensional. The screen is just this in front of you. So even if it's not like a construction job or a carpentry job or like blacksmithing, it could just be like sewing. A lot of people, every other person I know has taken up crocheting, and it's like, it's not even the one thing that's really surprised me about crocheting is that it felt very trendy, but everyone that's doing it is locking the fuck in.
Yeah, it's a trend that really did not disappear.
You're taking it very seriously, and I think it's because it's bringing back something very analog into someone's life, and then they benefit from it because they, like, if you do any crocheting or knitting, like unlimited gift hack.
Yeah, you get a tangible object at the end of this like project that you're doing.
What am I making? What am I getting for my friend's birthday? Is something I'll make, I guess.
Yeah, like there's an end goal to each project, but what the point is to enjoy the process rather than the end goal.
Yeah.
And that's what's so nice. I never got into it mainly just because I'm stupid and I need someone to sit me down and explain every step of the way. Can't do YouTube videos. I'm not good with that. I need someone. I like for almost anything in my life. I need someone to like look me dead in the eyes
Be
and
like,
tell
"Hey,
me,
this
and
is
then
what's
show
happening.
me.
This is what's happening." Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think just anything analog, even if it's filming on like Super 8 or, taking photos on cameras where the photo isn't instantly shareable. I think that's another aspect to like digicams and film cameras. Obviously, film cameras are like, I guess, the most analog form of photography that we have. But with digicam, it's not like you take the photo and you can post it on Instagram immediately. You have to go home, you have to plug your SD card into whatever, and then you get your photos. And just that is very rewarding in itself.
Yeah, and if you don't have an Apple device, then you have to like email or send everything to yourself. You can't just airdrop it. So there's like so many steps.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the majority of people's answers would be something kind of devoid of, not fully like devoid of technology, but yeah. Like I don't think if you asked anyone, at least I know, this question, they'll be like, oh, I'd be a TikToker. No.
That being said, a YouTuber could come up as an answer, but that's because there's so many steps of the process to a YouTuber.
Definitely. And
it's still a very physical like job.
And you could just build tables and record that and be a YouTuber through that, you know.
You could do anything and be a YouTuber. Because it's such a broad thing.
A lot of being a YouTuber is just doing the shit that we've been describing on camera, and then you post it and it's like, bang, this is, I guess, another revenue stream.
Yeah, I also just realized if someone's goal is to be a YouTuber, like that's not going to work out for them, because every YouTuber, like at least that I follow, they did something before that, or they have an interest and they were like, let's just make a video about it.
Yeah.
If it's fashion or if they're into movies, then they'll make something about it. Like you have to have some other interest other than just YouTube.
I wouldn't fully say that. Like I know some people that we know just started making this stuff really young and then just carried on.
Yeah. That's true.
And then I guess as time has gone on, their work might have gravitated towards the hobbies that they've developed.
No, you're right, actually.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, but I feel like also those people, their stuff became a lot better and clearer once they figured out something else to film about.
That's very true.
Like if you're filming willy-nilly, like that's not a bad thing, of course. That's how you figure yourself out. But obviously I don't think it necessarily does as good as if you then when you find 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you want to film and dedicate your content to or about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm going with that tangent. I think I'm finished with that part.
Yeah, me too. The topics I came up with last night don't really like. So we can talk about movies you keep coming back to even though they aren't anywhere near being your favorite.
Okay. I wrote this one down.
Yeah.
As an example, my top 4 movies on Letterboxd are After Sun, Amélie Poulain, Fire of Love, and Tomboy. Great movies, fantastic. Would rewatch every one of them. Love them. They're not necessarily my most rewatched movies. For example, every few months I'm like, I need to rewatch John Wick.
Uh-huh.
There's something so good about it. I need to rewatch it.
But I think the same can be said for music, where one of your favorite albums isn't necessarily something that you play all the time. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell by the overall meanness, but hey, Blonde by Frank Ocean is one of my favorite albums of all time. Yeah, I don't want to be fucking crying in the shower every time I listen to music, though. So I think, like, I don't know about you. I do know about you. But watching After Sun is a sport because you are wrecked every time you watch.
Every time. We've watched it 3-4 times.
Yeah, and I think...
And every time it hurts.
Something like John Wick isn't as... It's great in its different way. But I don't think it's as taxing, which is why you might be able to return to it more often.
Yeah. Because what prompted this is I saw a video of, I think, one of the most pretentious people alive talk about how he was almost like too pretentious for Letterboxd, because he was like, oh, no one believes that this movie that's super emotional, or like, for example, After Sun.
Yeah.
That's never going to be someone's favorite, because like you're never going to come back and rewatch. And I don't think something that's a favorite has to be something you come back to every fucking time.
No.
You can enjoy certain things without having to watch them over and over again.
Yeah, like, you know, this kind of goes into every aspect of your life, where your favorite food could be something that you can only have in, like, Okinawa, something like that. And it's like, oh, I've only been to Japan twice in my life. Not me, I haven't been there, but like, you get what I mean, where that's fucking weird. Of course your favorite can be something that you don't return back to all the time. I would say it's so crazy because I don't like this movie, but Saltburn,
my God.
I haven't watched it since the last time that we watched it together when we fell asleep on Naomi's ass.
No, so comfortable.
It was, man. Shout out to you, man. Um, yeah, I think
We watched that so many times, not anywhere near our favorite. Not even close. Yeah, I rewatched it I think probably more times than some of my favorites.
I agree. I just, I think when he arrives at Saltburn, and when the connection between Freaky Gremlin and Jacob Elordi, like as that starts ramping up, I think that's such a good part of the movie. And when Jacob Elordi dies, that's such a good part of the movie. Everything,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that shit. You can keep that to yourself. Just watch Talented Mr. Ripley.
And you'll get what you want out of Saltburn from that
Exactly.
movie.
That Talented Mr. Ripley, obviously a bunch of rich assholes. Drip is going crazy though. Drip is going so stupid in that movie. So if you need any fashion inspo, actually don't go to movies and stuff. I've been seeing a lot of people saying that try and find inspiration for things like fashion from everything but fashion, like nature or automotive engineering, yada 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 yada. And
Movies, books.
I guess that makes sense. Like I don't think any ideas for films that I've come up with have come from me watching a film.
No.
Ideas for like how to construct something within a film, maybe, definitely, but
I think one of my short films was based on a joke from a comedian in the 80s.
yeah, exactly, stuff like that.
Or like life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you kind of... Yeah, no, the fashion thing is like a good point. I've heard that a bunch. And I think that applies to pretty much any creative field.
Yeah, because it gets very echo chambery and like within itself if you just keep getting inspiration from the thing you're trying to make. I don't think that's very
No, and you train your eye through other mediums. Like I think any artist that draws physically or paints will understand this. When you go through like a long period of art block and you just don't create anything for like months on end, and then suddenly you come back, your art just kind of improves almost instantly, and it feels baffling because it's not like you've practiced, it's not like you've honed that ability, but all of a sudden it's better. It's because you are continuously absorbing information around the world, and that does affect your art and what you create without you knowing at all. And sometimes you just need to take a step back from creating something, and obviously keep creating, keep making. That's like definitely a huge part of improving. But sometimes you need to take a step back, or the step back will be forced upon you. And then you can still improve by just enjoying life. By just like absorbing things from other people that have nothing to do with you or that do have things to do with you, and just like go through with it. And I think that's why a lot of older people, like in their 40s and such, make better art, is because they've had a whole lifetime of just experiencing everything in life that isn't just the medium they're doing.
I agree with every single thing Tate said. Just in case you guys think I wasn't paying attention, I agree with everything Tate said.
Nice. Are you pulling out movies that you really enjoy but aren't good?
Not that aren't good, but maybe aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
I just like watching. I just call them vibes movies, which is very vague in its description. But movies where nothing really structured is happening, I feel like I can always return to those like really well. Not really well, but I can always return to those often because Aftersun is kind of like that, but I would say that the ones where it's just kind of, you feel like you're just following someone around, living something mundane, isn't as intense as defined 3x structure. Characters go here, then characters go here, then characters go here. I think I am so overwhelmed by just the amount of time I spend on the internet, which I shouldn't do. That when it comes to watching, when I think about films that I want to rewatch, I always think about the films that like mid-90s, where it's just a young kid who sees skaters and then just starts hanging out with them, and then it's just them hanging out. Except that one scene.
Yeah.
Except that one scene. Shit like that.
Funny enough, I think I'm kind of like the opposite from that. My favorite ones to come back to are the ones where there's like a clear, simple goal. John Wick, for example, his whole goal, revenge.
Understand?
Monkey Man, revenge.
Hard.
Things happen, and it's just so easy. Like, it's kind of the same reason you like those movies and you can come back to them, is that it's so uncomplicated. It just feels like there is one goal and you can just follow that goal, and that's it. Like, there's nothing else happening.
Completely get what you mean.
Like, it's not overwhelming. It's just nice. I think I get whatever feeling you get from these, like, nothing happening, from like, super simple plot line happening.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I love a convoluted, complex plot. Not all the time, though.
Not all the time.
I can't handle it all the time.
Not all the time. No, I completely agree.
I can handle it the less I'm on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then there's like less things already running through my mind.
Fuck, I need to watch Top Gun Maverick again.
I still haven't watched Top Gun
It's
Maverick.
actually so gas.
I've only watched Top Gun.
It's such, you guys know everything I want to say about this movie, but it's good. It's just good. Like, because I think I watched a video about this that Thomas Flight was talking about with like modernism, then postmodernism, then metamodernism, and everything. A lot of things these days are like postmodernism and metamodernism, but like Top Gun Maverick just isn't. It does a tiny bit at, like, if you guys know what postmodernism is, it's basically when you take like existing story tropes or whatever tropes and then kind of dissect them. So I don't fucking know, movies, a low-key like Infinity War, where instead of the villain just being, oh, I'm evil, it's like, no, I'm thinking. Shit like that. Or like, oh, dissecting someone's motives. Maybe the hero is kind of a jackass too. That type of stuff. You know? Top Gun Maverick does not give a fuck about any of that, bro. It's just a movie.
It just exists.
It's just, no one's like, is war bad? No, it's fucking gas. That's what it is. And I love Top Gun Maverick for that. I love it so much. So yeah, I think that's I would say that's closer to a John Wick type movie. But yeah, I guess my answer is whatever the fuck I want to watch. Honestly. Yep. Yeah. But
because and we do this thing now every Wednesday waffle. Mm-hmm. So every Wednesday we just like waffle on to a group chat about what we've done in the week.
Yeah, just 2-minute video.
Yeah, because we've got so many people that live abroad. Mm-hmm. And I keep every single waffle mentioning how YouTube Shorts has influenced the movies I've watched in the last weeks. I've been watching some of, not dog shit, but like the most average movies because of YouTube Shorts, and low-key been enjoying myself.
It's great, man.
They're just movies, and there's nothing special about them, but I'm having the time of my life.
They're just movies. No, we need them, man.
And they're not good. They're not bad, but they're not necessarily like good either.
Yeah. No, I think
sometimes you just need a neutral movie.
Yeah, you don't need I blanked out. I thought I was saying. You just don't need to think all the time. But that's where like movies like, I don't know, mid-90s and Close is a bit intense. So maybe not.
No, Close is very intense.
What's another vibes movie, man?
Diddy.
Diddy's more is more of a vibes movie, basically mid-90s again, to be honest.
Pretty much.
Not like I'm not
But with
saying
like a more embarrassing teenager.
yeah, I'm not saying like they're jacking the style. It's just
No.
kind of the same thing because
It's a coming of age. Every coming of age is pretty much just recycling the last movie
yeah,
before it. And we still eat it up because we love a coming of age, because you can come of age at any point in your life.
yes you can. I think Past Lives is kind of vibesy.
Past Lives is so vibesy.
Yeah. Licorice Pizza is pretty vibesy.
I would
I've
even
only watched
argue
it once,
Bones
though.
and All is vibesy.
Oh, bro, I love Bones and All, bro. That's
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's like they're just eating niggas and like, yeah, fuck, feed on me. Oh my god, you ate his bones too? Yeah, I did.
Oh shit.
Trying to eat you out now, and it's just that, and it's so good.
It's so good.
It's just so good, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't have to be too heady, because that can get very intense. Sometimes I just need something simple that'll make me feel something anyways.
See, that's why I think so many people love Wong Kar-wai movies, is because if you like sat down and dissected it, it would have so many complex layers and all that.
Yeah.
But when you watch it, you're just feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even sit down and question like, oh, what could this represent? What could this mean? You are just feeling everything in the movie, and it feels good.
Yeah.
Well, no, not always, but you feel something.
Yeah.
And then you can dissect everything later. Like there's a fine line between making a movie that's good that you can dissect afterwards, like Past Lives, and then watching a movie that you know is good, but you're kind of dissecting it whilst watching it rather than enjoying it and dissecting it later.
Yes.
Like I can't think of necessarily an example right off the bat of a movie that you kind of dissect mid-movie. But that's how I feel some like psychological thrillers want you to do. They want you to try and dissect the movie mid-movie rather than just enjoy and then dissect later.
I would say so.
Which is part of the genre, I get it. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just, sometimes it feels like the filmmaker wanted you to think rather than feel. Which, I don't know if that point lands.
No, I think sometimes the filmmaker is just a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
I want you to think rather than feel. I
And-
think
yeah.
sometimes, what am I about to say here? I think some filmmakers actually not overly rely, but rely a lot on you just feeling, so you actually don't think.
Yeah.
Tenet by Christopher Nolan. If you think that movie, huh? What's
Yeah.
going on there? But I'm gonna be honest, if you just feel that movie, I
Vibes.
guess.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yes.
When I first watched Tenet, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to think during this movie. I'm in a cinema. I have popcorn in my hand. There is no thinking going on. I had the time of my fucking life. I had no idea what was happening on screen. I fucked with it. And then everyone else I talked to was like, I have no idea what was happening. No. It's because you're not supposed to think.
I tried so hard to
You
get it.
think-
And like,
You're never going to figure it out.
yes. And
Which is a
that
flaw.
a bad part of the movie? Yes. A bad part of the movie is that it makes no sense. I think we can all agree
Yup.
that the movie just doesn't make sense, and that's kind of bad. But if you just like feel it though, like, yo, niggas are really going in reverse, actually, you're just like, oh shit. And you just feel that. And like the final scene when Robert Pattinson is just like, I'm low-key about to die, but I'm already dead. But your future's in the past. What's going on? But I'm like,
going on?
I'm about to cry.
I'm sobbing. I don't know what's happening, but I'm feeling something between them.
It's so, yeah. The movie's great. And honestly,
It's so
yeah,
great and it's so bad.
I am a pretty I don't know how I feel about Christopher Nolan. Most of the time I'm like, boo. But
I don't care about it.
I need to
It's just
watch
neutral.
Oppenheimer again because that shit made me feel, bro. Okay.
There are
The
elements of the film.
first 2 hours made me feel.
Yeah.
After the nuke goes off and it goes on for another hour, I was like, all right,
Right.
bro, what are we doing here?
But the part where the nuke goes off and it's black and white and there's the crowd shouting and stuff like that, I really fucked with that because I was like, I know he's a nerd and I know he's using specific cinematic language to like get his point across. It hit.
Yeah.
His point got across. I felt it.
Oh my god, the soundtrack is so good. It's so good. It's so good.
But objectively, also a bad film. It's good and bad at the same time.
I don't know if it's bad. I feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to watch it again. I think Oppenheimer was low key like ruined by the people that were like, oh, Oppenheimer over Barbie, and it's like, okay, you guys aren't having any fun.
It's like that's the point of this, is to have fun.
But I think if we rewatched it would be like, oh, it's alright.
Yeah,
It's alright. Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the main point
To blow
we're
my
trying to
schnoz.
say is that
I'm stuck.
I'll let you blow your nose and I'll try and think of the words I want to use.
Okay. Oh, fuck.
I hope the mic picked that up.
You digging in me.
You digging in me.
Tate, speak.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking. Okay, I think the main point of this is a good, like the best kind of movie makes you want to feel before it makes you want to think.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree.
That's why. Okay, it's also, I feel like a lot of us filmmakers forget that most people that watch films aren't filmmakers. They don't dedicate their life to this. They want to watch this because they wanna either like sit back after a long day of work, or they want to go to a movie with a group of friends. They want to do this for the pure enjoyment of it. It is not their whole life.
They don't give a fuck about the golden ratio.
Most people that watch films don't give a fuck because most people aren't filmmakers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to make films not for the other like circle jerk friends who also make films and want to feel good about like knowing more than the average person. Sometimes the goal of a film is just to make one for everyone.
But I think those are, I don't want to say those are the best films, but I think
It's the ones we kind of need the most right now.
I'm really trying to, I think we do need it the most right now because they still have something to say, but they will still, like, they'll cook on the box office. I think Monkey Man did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
I need to cook right now. I need to cook. Hold on. Tate, yap about something if you can think about something.
Okay, movies. Love movie when I can feel and not think, and then think later after I felt.
I think that to some degree, I'm trying to think of a more mainstream musician, but I think Tyler is pretty good at this.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not as big, so I wouldn't really
Tyler, the
hinge my
Creator?
point on it. Yeah. But where his songs have a lot to say, but they're not too heady. And like, you have to sit and be like, ooh, like.
It's not like he makes it a point to say that I know so much about music theory. I know so much about how this works. I've been in the game for so long. I know all these people that have like changed the game.
Yeah.
And like put that all into a song. You know, like if you dissect it, you know that he knows all this shit. You know he's a smart man. You know he knows what he's talking about.
And even like if you dissect it technically, like I think fans can get a lot from like not fans, but like musicians can get a lot from Tyler's work, but the general fucking Pharrell Williams does that so
Oh, he
well.
is so good.
There we go.
He's so good.
Pharrell is the master of, but I think there was a stat where it was like in 2000 and something, like 42% of the songs on the radio were produced by Pharrell.
I would 100%
Yeah, Paul, I
believe
looked
that.
that
Even
up.
if it's misinformation, I believe it. He just knows his shit, and he has so much fun with it. Like, that's like, I don't know if it's a correct or like a good comparison maybe, but you know when you have like cooks and then you have like chefs that go to like Michelin star restaurants, at some point what's so good about food gets lost when you try and perfect and apply algorithms or apply calculations, whatever it is, you're applying these things that like objectively make something better.
And that may
And
be
you
like
lose the essence of it.
a food critic might be like, oh my God, this is, but like sometimes the burger just has to bang.
So that's the whole point of the menu.
Yeah, it's the whole point of the menu.
The whole point of the menu is
Sometimes the
that
bucket is
sometimes you don't have to like create all these special little things about food and create something that's never been made before and all that. Sometimes you just have to make something that's already been made 100 times and just make it with your special sauce.
It says, according to an unnamed August 2003 survey, don't know how like verified that is, but cited by The Age, it was found that in Britain, the Neptunes, which is Pharrell and Chad Hugo, produced 20% of songs played on British radio at that time. Another survey in the US found they produced 43% of radio songs.
God damn.
43%.
Which also means that they have a pretty good idea of who to select to also produce foreign stuff.
Exactly. But if you are really into music, you can find so much appreciation in how they construct the songs. But clearly, since 43% of it was on the radio, it's not only for people who know the ins and outs of music. It works and resonates with everyone. And that is so good. So very good. Yeah. Shout out to Pharrell for that. Great music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art is great when you know so much about how an art medium can be better, and then you just choose to make it for the people rather than for the select few who knows what's really, really good about it.
That's real as fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's real as fuck from you.
I think that's what I struggle with like coming up with stories for short films is like, I'll always think of like, oh, what if like this judge at this film festival, or like, oh, what about these other filmmakers? Sometimes you should just be making stories that other people can like relate or can enjoy.
Yeah, maybe I should start thinking about future films I might make where it's like, I just want my dad to like this.
Yeah.
Not like an impressing my parents because like I feel pressure on me as a child, but more of like my dad isn't into it like that.
Yeah.
But if I can still make something where,
or if I can make someone's dad just like it,
exactly,
for the sake of liking it.
But it has like, in my opinion, has artistic integrity, and I've put a lot into crafting it, but it can still just resonate with a dad, then I think I'm doing like a pretty good job. I think ultimately that is a type of stuff I would want to make.
Yeah, something where you can stand behind because of all the technical moving parts, but then some kid, 14-year-old kid in his bedroom, and can just open their laptop and go, I feel this feels connected.
Yeah.
It hits.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes it doesn't need to hit for another filmmaker. It just needs to hit for a random kid in their bedroom, a random dad after work, a random aunt after like a family reunion. It just has to be.
I think David Fincher does a good job of this with movies like The Social Network, Fight Club. Forgot everything else he made while I'm speaking.
Yeah, like there's a point to those films that sometimes it's just nice to just watch.
Sometimes it's nice to just watch. Like the first time I watched The Social Network, I was just like, damn, I feel something. And then I listened to a million things about it and I was like, oh wow, there was so much going on here. But when I think I was like 18 or 19 the first time I watched it, all I needed to do was just like feel something, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the films that stay with you the most are the ones you just feel something when you need to in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect After Sun to be like fantastic or anything, but it stuck with me because I was like, I didn't expect jack shit, and it delivered more.
Yeah, that should fuck me up, man. It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie. But anyways, guys, I mean, we've been recording for probably just under an hour or just over an hour. I don't think we have that much more to say, and I don't really want to push it.
No.
So I think that's it from us. You'll hear this at some point. And by the time you hear this, me and Tate will be recording episodes like over fucking Google Meet or whatever.
Or maybe whenever I drop in the city.
That's cool.
If I can't stay here permanently.
That's true. And it's going to be a change that sometimes I feel like I'm coping with it pretty well, and other times I'm like, maybe I'm just a bit of a fraud. But, you know, the only thing permanent in life is change. And yeah, I also feel like it's my fault for being friends with people who
have their goal to live in, or have one of their goals be to live in 10 countries.
You specifically, yes, but I just feel like a lot of the people I surround myself with in general just have so much life to give, but so much of that life that they need to give can't all be given here. And it just requires them to go elsewhere, whether it be they get a job opportunity somewhere else, or they just want to travel, like whatever it may be. I think I'm very fortunate to have surrounded myself with people who whose heart kind of belongs everywhere, which is a bit tough because it knows that feels. I know that means they won't be around for too long, but I guess I can kind of accept that because they're pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Study came out in Germany that like. I read it yesterday. I don't want to misquote.
I like how this is our outro.
It was just about loneliness. DW, Germany. Loneliness. It was a survey carried out by TK, our health insurance company.
Oh, shout out.
Around 60% of Germans suffer from loneliness often.
Yep.
And I would imagine that, better in some places, worse in other places, of course. It's probably a thing that's, I think, just growing worldwide as a lot of stuff moves towards the internet. I think we're just losing social skills and stuff like that. Please, I think only like 20% of men talked about it as well, compared to like close to 40% of women. If you feel that way, guys, please find a space. If you're not really sure how, just think of all the things that you like doing that happen outside and just try and go to those things more often. And hopefully you'll find people, because at least you're kind of whittling down who you'd get along with. Because if you're in a place with someone else who likes a thing as much as you do, you'll probably get along. Please be safe. Please don't get consumed by the news too much. I do think overall in the world, things aren't great. But I also think if you had as much access to the internet in 2005, you would feel the same way. Or 1993.
Absolutely.
Or 1964. It's we're kind of always in the shitter as people. But a way to get out of it is within each other. So, yeah. If you haven't seen a friend in a while, message him. Wednesday waffle, just give them.
Don't let your embarrassment and fear of looking stupid stop you from making connections that will last you a lifetime.
Yes. And those connections, if they're close, far away, whatever, if you can't talk to people, if you guys suck at texting, just a weekly 2-minute video letting them know what's going on is enough for you to feel really connected to someone. Yeah. Anyone who's in the southern hemisphere and enjoying the weather, die. Fuck off. I hate you. 'Cause the sun's gonna start setting in 2 hours, and it's 12:57 p.m. and that's so nasty. Because a few months ago the sun was setting at 9:30. Anyways, that's been us. Follow us at places or don't. Do what you want to do. We appreciate you anyways. I am starting to lock in a lot better, so you guys will be getting a lot more of these more often, which is great. Anything you want to say, Tate?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Peace out, y'all. Ciao, bella.
Ciao.